Hello and thank you for tuning into Subjective channel to watch our coverage of Second World War, particularly the struggle between USSR and Germany. Both sides are strong, this promises to be an interesting fight. Let's watch. Since Germans are on the offensive, Russians build some defenses. Seeing how the English are well protected from Germans by their English Channel, digging a moat seems like a good idea. But they haven't noticed yet that they have no water left to fill this moat. They have spent it all on watering their grain, which they will have to burn down along with their houses as they retreat from the Germans. This is a tragic oversight. With the grain and water lost, Russian vodka industry will be hard hit. Since vodka is getting expensive, Russian soldiers approach people on street to see if they have any cash to spare to aid the war effort. Germans, in their turn, are very different in their approach. They come to your house, they're very official about this thing, they require some money, and they don't require a lot, since they also require, which is very strange, a mystery box, which can contain anything as long as it helps them win the war. Germans also wreak havoc on water. Their U-boats, aided and guided by dolphins, seek out Russian military and cargo vessels. This is just like Germans. They will use every opportunity to fight dishonestly. And it looks like, using the information provided by dolphins, the Germans have been able to locate a Russian cargo ship evacuating cute puppies from the front lines. I'm sorry for getting emotional, but here you can see German captain aiming straight for the puppy bay and torpedo away. The tragedy. Even though Germans are aided by sea creatures, I think Russians will win this war because of their ingenuity. You see, this ship is burning, and the sailors just don't put out the flames. They do it while taking a shower. Also, they wash the ship. Clever, right? This soldier doesn't have glasses, so he pours his vodka into cannon shells. That's what Russians call smikalka. Here you can see Hitler, very satisfied with the progress of his army. He even jokes that the army could win this war in their sleep. Having no sense of humor, the Germans try to do exactly that. We'll use the quiet moment to bring you a word from our sponsor. Motorcycles with beds, every soldier's dream machine. But the Germans shouldn't be wasting their time. You see, Russia's really big, and we have a way of messing with the enemy's heads. We put out our defenses in several lines, so when the enemy approaches the first line, he defeats it, predictably. And then he thinks he's broken through, but there's another line waiting for him, and so on and so forth. You know, the people who are left behind, who are abandoned, they're typically not very grateful, so not everybody does that because of this. But if you have a few million soldiers to spare, you should try this. It's really fun. And when the enemy has been stopped, the Russians can employ their secret, well, quote-unquote, secret weapon, winter, which is exactly what happened to Napoleon's army, and is especially effective against Germans, because they have their motorcycles and also their cabriolet tanks. You know, I know those things seemed like a good idea during summer, and I'm sure your soldiers had a great time in them in France. You can feel the wind rush through the holes in your helmet. But this is Russia, man. These soldiers look like they're comparatively warm because of the clothes, but they're not, because they're all forced to wear Hitler-line leather shorts, and they're freezing their nuts off. If Hitler had taken 5 minutes to read in a history book what happens when you attack Russia, his soldiers would be much better off. You see, who wages war in these shorts? Nobody. Except for these guys, and they're forced to surrender because of it. And they're not even doing that right, you know. Look, they're in big groups, they're holding their hands. I'll show you the correct way of surrendering, the way Russians do it. Surrendering is like a wedding. You keep it among friends, like in a wedding. You take some gifts. Military secrets are a very good choice, always. And then you have some ceremony with some music. And then after the ceremony you get down to business. And since soldiers brought presents, they're not punished, they're rewarded by being allowed to pet a cat. Sorry for trailing off. Germans are defeated and Hitler has lost his mind.
Вы не знаете, когда я венчаюсь?
О какой свадьбе вы говорите, мой фюрер? Русские в 200 метрах от нас. Бои идут в метро.
Метро! Пустите в метро! Воду спрея!
On a lighter note, Hitler has a wedding. Big mistake, Adolf. That will suck all the passion out of your relationship. Not that there seems to be any, but that's because couples' honeymoon plans involve suicide by gunshot. Oh, and that is Red Army taking Berlin, Germany's capital. It is safe to say at this point that the war is over, it has been won by Russia. We would like to say that there were some events that occurred during the war that we didn't cover, but they didn't involve Russia, so they weren't as important or as interesting. We would also like to thank our allies, which have been of great help in achieving this victory for Russia so that it could rise again and hopefully one day free the other half of the Germany, which is currently being held by capitalist swines. Oh, and the crowds are looking at something arrive. They're looking at the sky, I'm guessing it's a plane. Oh, I'm being told it's Joseph Stalin, the man of the day himself. He's now currently the dictator with the coolest looking mustache after the death of Adolf Hitler. That is the only reason he gave for fighting the war in the first place. The Czechs love him, as do the soldiers, as you can see. And that ends our coverage of this war. Thank you for watching it, and tune in next time.